All right, what am I going to do today? Not a Timu. It's this cookbook. I'm going to let you see this cookbook. Here is a thumbnail. Can't see it, the glare. There. All right, I bought this cookbook in Nauvoo a long time ago, 3 years ago. That's not that long, $12.95. At the Cookbook Spiral. I don't know what it means. Originally published in 1930, this remarkable cookbook contains a treasure of over 300 American home cooking recipes from the Rexburg, Idaho Relief Society sisters. It is available in print for the first time in over 80 years. You'll love this cookbook. Discover what you never knew you were always missing. All right, so I bought it a long time ago. I love to read cookbooks. I told that to my brother, and he goes, Larry, he goes, oh, that's interesting reading. 2 quarts milk, 2 tablespoons butter, 2 cups diced potatoes. I said, Larry, it is interesting, but you don't read it really like that, like a novel. All right, so I was looking through these recipes, and it just made me chuckle. I thought, I wonder if these other people have heard of these 1930 recipes, because, they're even older than that, probably. So it's really pretty funny. Now, I'm sure I bought it in, Nauvoo. It was at the NauvooGallery.com. I don't know if you could go there and get one too, but Nauvoo is a really tourist historical place, and all the buildings are restored and preserved from the era that they were made, and it's such a wonderful little town. So in Illinois, if you haven't been there, you should go there. And Jamie's sister lives there right now, and her husband. Okay, so I started looking at the recipes because, I bought this. I should make some of these recipes. All right, here's a recipe called bread and cheese. All right, you butter 3 slices of bread, and you turn it upside down in your baking dish. Then you grate 1 to 3 pounds of cheese and put over the bread. That's going to be a lot of cheese. Bake a custard of eggs, milk, salt, and pepper. Pour over bread and let stand for 1 hour. Then you bake in a moderate oven until well set, about 20 minutes. Stale bread and strong cheese will give a better results. But you're only using 3 slices of bread to 1 to 3 pounds of cheese and 4 eggs, 3 cups of milk. It's kind of like a cheese custard. All right, now here's cheese rarebit. Rarebit cheese. Okay, here's how you make this. You serve this over buttered toast. I want to try this. All right. You're going to make 1 pint white sauce made of milk, flour, butter, and salt. Okay, that's like a roux. Cook for 5 minutes, and then you add grated cheese. It doesn't tell you how much, just grated cheese to suit taste. When cheese has melted, add tomato juice containing a pinch of baking soda. Let heat and remove from stove, and you serve over buttered toast. That sounds like like my husband's parents would eat that, my grandparents. And then you can make it a Welsh rarebit. All you have to do is add onions cut up finely and put it with the tomatoes. And you cook until tender. All right, Welsh rarebit. Oh, and here's another one that you just add mustard to it, mustard flavor. And the Mexican rarebit has green peppers in it. Different varieties. Fruit punch for 100. Now, you might want to live in California if you make this, because you have to have 5 dozen lemons, 2 cans grated pineapple, 7.5 pounds of sugar, a half a dozen oranges, 1 quart of grape juice, 1 ounce citric acid dissolved in boiling water and added to taste. And then you add enough water to make 8 gallons. I don't know if I can get 5 dozen lemons. I went through ahead of time and marked the things that I thought were funny in here. Green River cocktail. And is Green River a liquor or something? Because it says 1 pint Green River. I don't know what that is. I can't make it. My daughter lives in Rock Springs, which Green River is right near there. Do you have to go there to get Green River? It has pineapple, grapefruit, water, and sugar in it with a pint of Green River. Go down there into the river and get, I don't know what it is. Here's watermelon cocktail. 1 cup watermelon juice, 2 cups of sugar, and 1 bottle ginger ale. That's going to be really sweet. I saw this on one of those shorts, and a guy was making it, and they put in a blender, though. I don't think they put that much sugar. Okay, you cook the sugar and watermelon, and it forms a syrup. Then you add it to the ginger ale. Now, this was a very interesting recipe I came across. Shrimp cocktail. I love shrimp, and I'm thinking, 6 shrimp served with chili sauce. That's the recipe. Doesn't tell you how to serve it with it or what to do, but that's easy. Now, here's a waffle recipe, but you have to have Swan's Down flour. We can't make it. We don't have that flour. And here's graham gems. And you put in milk. It says sweet milk, as opposed to sour milk. Because back then, I know Jamie's mother always said, oh, I just hate that clabbered milk. They didn't have refrigeration, and they just left the milk out. So you use 1.5 cups sweet milk, 2 tablespoons lard or cream, and 2 tablespoons sugar, which is optional, 2 cups graham flour, 1 cup white flour, and 2 tablespoons baking powder. And you add 1 beaten egg and bake in gem tins. I don't know if I have any gem tins. I don't know what they are. They must be little gem tins. Graham gems. Can't make it. I don't have those. All right, nut bread. I liked this recipe. 1 cup milk, 1 egg, 3/4 cup nuts. Doesn't say what kind. I guess you can use any kind you want. 1/4 cup sugar, 2 teaspoons baking powder, and 2.5 cups flour. So it's basically like a cake recipe, but it has almost a cup of nuts in it. And you bake it in a loaf pan, and it makes about 2 inches thick in a loaf pan. It does have baking powder, so it's going to rise a little, but that would be pretty cheap to make because all you have to have is some nuts. Milk bread. I might have heard of this before. Milk bread. 1 quart of milk. That's 4 cups of milk. 1 to 3 cups sugar. However much you want, just put it in. 1 teaspoon salt. 2 yeast cakes or 1 cup yeast. And 1/3 cup shortening. You cook milk, and then you add your yeast and sugar and add enough flour to make a batter. Let rise. Add salt and shortening, then mix in enough flour to bake medium stiff dough. You have very nice rolls. They think everybody knows how to make bread. Now this one I liked. Everlasting biscuits. Because when you make homemade bread and biscuits or anything, they don't last as long as store-bought because you don't put preservatives into them. So this everlasting biscuits, and it's basically a biscuit recipe, but it says good for days, making them up as required. They're going to last forever because they're everlasting biscuits. They didn't have a freezer, refrigerator, or anything. Okay, now we're going to go to soups and salads. Now here's a soup called butterfly soup. And I thought, do we have to catch butterflies? No. You take your leftover boiling meat or chicken and run it through a food chopper, and you add 2 eggs and salt and pepper. So, chicken or beef, food chopper. So it's like ground up. You just use ground hamburger maybe. And then add your eggs, and then it doesn't say what to do with it though. Then your noodle recipe is 2 eggs, a half a cup of water, and flour. It doesn't say how much flour. It says take leftover boiling meat or chicken and run through food chopper, and you add your eggs, salt, and pepper. Then make noodles of eggs, water, and flour and roll stiff. Cut noodles in diamond shape. Put a teaspoon of filling it on it. Fold and paste lightly. Then add to boiling soup. So that meat, ground meat, is put into the broth. So, and your noodles, I kind of want to try it. It's weird, but I want to try it. But they wrote it up weird. Sorry, I have kind of a runny nose. It's snowing today. I should make soup. It's snowing. All right. Now, we're into salads. They have a lot of dressing recipes. And here is the ultimate to me. Jell-O salad. I remember in the old day, when I was a little girl, we'd go to potluck dinners and you would find this recipe. I want you all, if I tell this recipe to my grandkids, they're going to die. Okay, here's what you do. You dissolve Jell-O in 1 pint boiling water. It says to have lemon Jell-O, but I remember green Jell-O. All right, and then you add some vinegar, 1 tablespoon of vinegar and some salt. You let it cool. When it's cold, but before it sets, so you have to stay home and watch it, add chopped vegetables. Here's the vegetables you're going to add to your lemon Jell-O. 1 cup chopped celery, 1 cup carrots put through a chopper, and 1 cup chopped cabbage, and a half a cup pickles. It doesn't say dill or sweet. Anyway, chill and mold in the Jell-O mold, and tip it out. Serve on lettuce with mayonnaise rubbed on top. I'm going to make that for Thanksgiving. All right, now this was weird to me, but I can see Jamie's parents doing this. It's called Tomato Perfection Salad. You strain your quart of tomatoes, homemade canned tomatoes. Heat to boiling point and pour over gelatin. You got to have 2 tablespoons Knox plain gelatin soaked in 4 tablespoons cold water. So you're going to strain the tomatoes and then pour over that gelatin. Chill until it begins to congeal. Then add 1 cup celery, 1 cup peas, 1 teaspoon salt, dash of cayenne pepper, a 1/4 cup finely chopped onion, 1 cup cabbage, and 1 cup pepper, a green pepper. All right. It doesn't say some of these vegetables, but I'm sure you have to cut them finely. Chill. Okay, I already did that. Add seasoning, but mold in small cups. Everyone gets their own individual Jell-O tomato vegetable. I want to make it because I want to serve a very weird meal. Cheese salad. Now, this sounds weird. Beat gelatin. You have 2 tablespoons gelatin dissolved in a 1/4 cup warm water. That's not plain gelatin, no flavor. All right, beat gelatin mixture into cream. Add cheese. You have 1 cup cream that's whipped. Okay, so it's like whipped cream. No sugar in it, though. Then you're going to you beat the gelatin mixture in the cream. Then you add 1 pound grated cheese, a half a cup chopped olives. And then it says paprika, mustard, and salt, but it doesn't tell you how much. Mix well. Heat until smooth and creamy. Chill and serve on slices of pineapple with salad dressing. So it's going to be like kind of like cream cheese maybe, because it has your whipped cream with the cheese and olives in it. Stiff. It's weird to me. I want to do it. I want to do these weird things. Apple mayonnaise. Now, I want to know what you use this for. You take 1 cup of mayonnaise and add 1 cup bright colored apple jelly. Mix slightly and serve at once. But what would you eat that over? Lamb? I don't know. Pineapple salad. Now, as a child and as a young bride, I remember reading on packages of Jell-O, you were not to use pineapple. But maybe that just meant canned pineapple. So, but here you say it says you can make your pineapple Jell-O and serve with mayonnaise on top. And one time, here's a story. We knew this lady in Brookings. Her name was Viola. You could kind of tell how old people are by their name. Viola. She was old. Well, she was alone, and so we invited her to our Thanksgiving dinner at my house. And I had the biggest house of everybody where I could put the big long table with Carolyn's family, Lisa's family, my mom and dad, and they'd all come over. And I got used to cooking big meals from them. So when I moved here with all my kids and Jamie, it wasn't hard for me to cook a big meal for 25 people, you know. So we invited Viola. And she said, I'll bring something. And we said, oh, you don't have to. No, I'll bring a Jell-O. All right. So here she came with her Jell-O. The first time my boys ever found this kind of Jell-O. It was green Jell-O, and it had pineapple and carrots in it. But she brought it in this, it was like a dish, a foam kind of dish, to keep your food warm when you bring it. Well, when I opened the lid in the kitchen, the top of it had mold all on it. I thought, all right, I guess the mold isn't on the Jell-O. You have to serve it. What am I going to do? So anyway, and then it had white on top, which we assumed was, what my boys assumed was whipped cream. Now, I kind of was suspicious of it, thinking it looks like mayonnaise to me. So my boys, oh, they love Jell-O. They took a big old scoop of that green Jell-O with pineapple in it. And then they started eating it. And I just told them to don't say anything because it was mayonnaise on it. And they thought that was the weirdest thing in the world, having mayonnaise on your Jell-O. It was funny. Okay, salad peekaboos. You chop your chicken and olives. You mix with mayonnaise and garnish with cream cheese, dusted with paprika. I don't know what you're supposed to do with it, though. You have chicken and olives and mayonnaise, and you just eat it like that, I guess. Top it with some cream cheese and dust with paprika, and you just eat that like a salad? Things seems weird to me. We don't do that much. We have chicken salad we put on bread and, make on croissants and make those yummy things. All right, now here's a good recipe. It is called Italian spaghetti. That just made me laugh because I'm thinking, we all know spaghetti is Italian dish. All right, this kind of reminded me of that other recipe, that what was it called? Sorry, I can't remember it because it's new to me. Rarebit, cheese rarebit. It kind of reminds me of the rarebit recipe. Tomato gravy. All right, 1 can of tomatoes, and you put salt and 3 tablespoons of sugar, or teaspoons of sugar, and 2 tablespoons of flour. So you have salt, sugar, flour together, and sift them onto the 1 can of tomatoes. Then you add a teaspoon of butter and put on to cook. And it's tomato gravy. Now, Jamie's parents, and he does it too, you make a piece of toast, and you put your cream corn over the toast. And they just think that is wonderful. They open a can of cream corn and put over toast. I think they would like this tomato gravy. I want to try it. What would I put it on? Toast? I don't know. It doesn't say what you put it on. I know the old-timers know. Cold jellied meatloaf. It sounds, it's like, is it like lunch meat? It sounds horrible. You boil until the chicken till tender with 3 pounds of veal shank and 1 onion, salt and pepper. Remove meat and simmer stock down until you just have 2 cups. It's going to be concentrate strong. You shred meat, but don't grind it. Place in loaf tin and pour on hot liquid. And hard-boiled eggs or olives can be added. And that's the recipe. Now, I would think that 2 cups of liquid congealed is going to, and then you're going to slice it up like lunch meat. I'm not going to try that recipe. For one, I don't have 3 pounds of veal shank. All right. I want to make this easy dinner. It's called sausage and tomatoes. You toast pieces of bread and put over them a little of the fat in which the sausage has been fried. They don't tell you fry the sausage first. Arrange sausage on the toast and over all of it, and then you pour tomato sauce on it. Now, it doesn't say to bake it or anything. I guess you have your toasted and your sauce. I don't know. I'm not doing it. It'd be an easy dinner, though. All right. Here, oh, I'm hot. Stuffed hearts. It's going to have a little noise. It's hot in the kitchen. All right. Now, this is going to be hard to do because I don't want to go kill 2 calves to get 2 small calf hearts. But you got to wash the calf hearts thoroughly and remove any muscular portion. Then you make a dressing. I would just go buy some stovetop dressing, but no, they didn't have it back then. So you make your dressing by pouring boiling water through 1 cup breadcrumbs that you've added half a teaspoon poultry seasoning and salt and pepper. All right, so you pour the boiling water over the crumbs and drain well. Then you add the seasoning, and when cold, you use that to fill the hearts. And then you cover with boiling water and cook in oven for 4 to 6 hours. You know what that tells me? That small calf hearts are tough. You got to cook them for 6 hours. Doesn't say what temperature. Then you drain off the liquid and you thicken that for gravy. Sprinkle hearts with buttered crumbs and salt and pepper. Brown in a hot oven and serve at once. I'm not doing it. All right, Yorkshire pudding. People from England probably know about Yorkshire pudding. All right, it's not really, I don't know. You beat 4 eggs until very light. Okay, picture that, your eggs all beaten. Then you add 1 pint of milk gradually, beating all the time. Then you add 1 cup of flour and beat hard. Then you bake in a moderate oven for 20 minutes. If oven is too hot, the pudding won't rise. Serve with roast beef. I want to try it because I don't get it. Is it going to be kind of like cream puffs and bake up with those eggs in there? And it has eggs, flour, milk, and salt. There's no fat. So I want to try that. I never had Yorkshire pudding. It seems like more of a bread than a pudding to me, but I don't know. I'm going to have to watch a YouTube about Yorkshire pudding. Because I know a lot of you don't know what it is either. And then some of you might. All right. Corn fritters. I want to make this. Mix all together. 1 cup of corn, half a cup of milk, 1 egg, and 1 teaspoon melted fat, 1 teaspoon baking powder, and a half a teaspoon salt. And then you add enough flour to make rather stiff batter. Drop by teaspoonfuls in deep fat and fry until brown. And you serve them hot. Let me try that. Onion shortcake. All right. You cook your onions, 2 cups finely cut onions in butter and 2 tablespoons of water. So you cook until clear. You know how they get translucent. Then you make your dough. 2 cups of flour, 4 tablespoons baking powder, 3 tablespoons, 3/4 milk, and some salt. You put onion, oh wait, you mix and put in one sheet in baking dish, the dough. And then you pour onion and on the dough, and on this pour a 1/2 cup sour cream in which 2 eggs have been beaten. Well, they should have told that up above because you need sour cream and 2 eggs and beat it. And then you put that on the onions. I want to try it. Bake for 20 minutes. So it's going to have the dough and then your onions and then sour cream and eggs on top. We're going to try. I'm going to demonstrate. We're going to talk and then we're going to try it. I'm going to try it. You're not going to try it unless you do your own. Heavenly cabbage. I have a cabbage in the fridge right now, and Jamie goes, you need to cook the cabbage. Put cabbage, which has been gently boiled in salt water and drained, okay, kind of like parboiled, and you put it in a buttered baking dish. Kind of get maybe a round one, maybe. Pour over it 1 cup thin cream into which has been beaten 1 egg. It's going to thicken up a little. Sprinkle with buttered cracker crumbs and a dash of nutmeg. Bake until egg and cream make a custard. It's going to be heavenly. All right, this one is called leftovers. Is it goulash or something like that? Nope. All right, you make your cold mashed potato cut up shapes. Oh, I guess when your cold mashed potatoes are in a bowl, you just cut them up into, and you mince enough ham or other meat to fill a cup. So they want a cup of ham or whatever. Boil 1 egg hard and chop it fine. Make a cream sauce of a 1/2 cup of milk and a tablespoon of flour. And then you put the meat and the egg in there. And when it's thick, you pour over the potato pieces and set in oven until brown. And it's just called leftovers. I'm going to try that on Jamie. He's going to love it. He's a meat and potato man. Rinctum ditty. Rinctum ditty. D-I-T-T-Y. My mother never made this. All right. You melt butter in a pan and you add 3 cups of tomatoes, 1 cup grated cheese, pepper, and 1 cup mushrooms that are diced. And you stir constantly. And then you season with salt, mustard, grated onion, celery salt, and parsley. All right. Cook until a creamy substance and smooth, and serve very hot on dainty squares of toast or toasted crackers. Oh, I could make that as an appetizer before Thanksgiving dinner. Can't remember. What's that called again? I don't know. I gotta look that up. Ring. You know that's from a different country. Rinctum ditty. Oh, that's funny. All right. To me, anyway. Now, their cake recipes are pretty, normal. We have brown stoned front cake. All right. It's kind of a chocolate cake with sour cream in it. Old Black Joe cake. Now, are they saying that this came from an African-American man, Old Black Joe's cake? You can't do that nowadays. Name things like that, I don't think. Is that racist? I got in trouble for stuff like that. Take it to the church potluck. Here's Old Black Joe's cake. You might get in trouble. Food for gods. Oh, what is it? Because we're having the gods come for Thanksgiving. All right, 12 tablespoons of cracker crumbs, but don't make them too fine. And you mix the cracker crumbs with 2 cups of sugar, 1 pound walnuts broken, a half a pound dates, and 2 tablespoons baking powder. So you mix all that together. Then you add your eggs, 6 eggs lightly beaten, and 1 tablespoon of flour. And you bake in slow oven on a greased paper in a flat pan, cut in squares. And my mother used to make this, and she called it Marilyn's Goodies, because that's the lady who gave it to her. And she put it in a pie pan, and it was like 12 soda crackers and all of this stuff that I didn't know it had 2 cups of sugar and walnuts and dates. I don't think they put dates. And then the eggs, and it's weird. And then you just serve it with whipped cream. It isn't like any flavor. A potato cake, you have 1 cup mashed potatoes. Make up a whole bunch on Thanksgiving of mashed potatoes, and then you can make this cake with the leftovers. I don't know if it's good or not. You have folded in egg whites to it. Sounds like a lot of work. But I'm going to tell you this. I was behind this lady one time. Before, I haven't been shopping yet for my Thanksgiving dinner, but I'm going to do it. But I don't need much because we grow our own pumpkin, so I don't need to buy a pumpkin. Pie crust is flour and butter. I always have that. So the pies, we have our own cherries and we have our own apples. So I don't have to buy much to make pies. All right, we buy a turkey. This year, Carmen got a free one, so she's going to bring a turkey. The gravy is no money. The mashed potatoes, Jamie grows his own potatoes, so that's all free. The carrots that are free because he grows them. Let's see what else. The stuffing. We do buy stovetop stuffing, and then Jamie always has to buy just plain breadcrumbs, and then he mixes them, and he used to put so much sage in it, it was not edible, but he's gotten a little better. And we buy mushrooms and celery. I already have celery, I know. You can use canned mushrooms if you are in a pinch, but I will buy real mushrooms, and I already have onions. All right, so that's the main stuff. We never liked sweet potatoes and yams, but now that I'm old, I love them. So I might do that and make that marshmallow stuff, whatever. All right, and whipped cream for the pies. I have to buy that. And Misty's going to bring a broccoli salad, so I don't have to buy any salad stuff. Anyway, I don't spend much on Thanksgiving dinner because it's always like that. But I was behind this lady, and she was, you could tell it was her Thanksgiving dinner. $300 it came to. I'm like, for one meal, $300? Are you crazy? I'm sure they'll have leftovers. But she bought all the pies, those expensive pies that, are almost $8 to $10 each. And what else? I mean, oh my gosh. She probably was making the green bean casserole, which none of us like it. Mushroom soup on green beans. I don't think it's that good. And I make my own rolls, which is just flour, milk, and butter, and, $300 she spent. I was just horrified. I'm going to somewhere else's house for Thanksgiving. I'm not spending $300 on a meal. Now here's the angel sponge cake, but you have to have Swan's Down flour again or it's not going to work. And you have to buy Swan's flour, the white, and then Swan's Down flour in yellow. We're not doing that one. Now, pork cake. A pork cake, it's fruit cake, eggless fruit cake, and you use 1 pound fresh fat pork, ground. Oh, I'm not making that either. Here's a jelly roll. 3/4 cup sugar, 4 tablespoons water, 1 cup flour, 3 eggs, 2 teaspoons baking powder. No instructions, what to do, how to make the jelly roll, just the ingredients. They must think we all knew it. What if you're a beginner? We need instructions. You're going to have to go to your mother-in-law and find out. Now here is two pumpkin pie recipes. I always use my Grandma Golden's recipe pie. But it's, one of them has, from a Mrs. George Romney, has 2/3 cup, 2 to 3 cups of brown sugar. But she did steam and strain her own pumpkin. But the other one just has white sugar. Now, I remember my neighbor up here, they're from Canada, not that it matters, but he said, oh, pumpkin pie is not as good unless you use brown sugar. So I'm going to make the two pies, and we're going to have a taste test to see if brown sugar or white sugar is better, in our opinion. Now, this one is weird to me. It's called cheap cream pie. This reminds me, when I took home ec in school, the first thing they taught us was how to make roux, which was for the gravy thickening. And then the second thing was vanilla cornstarch pudding. Now, this recipe is it in a pie crust. You heat your water, 2.5 cups of water in a double boiler, and then you add 1.5 cups sugar and add your 4 tablespoons cornstarch. That's how, but we would put vanilla in it too. Oh, they say you can add chocolate, lemon, bananas, or pineapple can be added. And then you thicken it up and pour it into your baked pie shell, 2 pie shells, and you cover it with whipped cream. And that's like our cornstarch pudding we always made. And Shauna and I would make that, my sister. We would make that when we were poor and there was nothing at home to eat, no ingredients. But you had to put saran wrap, plastic wrap on the top so it wouldn't form that scum. And then you had to wait a while in the fridge for it to set up. And we always made chocolate. We thought we were in heaven. Now I eat it and it's not very good. Not very, okay, oh no, here's called lazy cookies. And I put not very lazy because you cream the egg and sugar together, and then you put sour cream, baking soda that you have to dissolve in water first, and a scant teaspoon of flavoring, probably vanilla, and then you use enough flour to make the dough. And then bake it like cookies. It's just like any other cookie recipe. I don't think it's for lazy cookies. I think that's how cookies are made. Lazy cookies when you buy the cookie dough and the already made. Sour milk donuts. All right. This is what Jamie's mother was talking about. And they didn't have refrigeration when she was little. So they would just milk the cows and use the milk and leave it out because they didn't have a refrigerator. Well, eventually that milk would go sour, and she called it clabbered milk. Oh, I hated that clabbered milk. And here is a recipe for sour milk donuts, and you use 1 cup sour milk. Now, nowadays, is it buttermilk, and we put the vinegar in it to make the buttermilk? But back then, they really did use sour milk for cooking. We don't have to do that nowadays. All right, now they get into the candies and the puddings and fudge and stuff to make. Now they have a Harvard pudding. It has raisins or dates in it. And a prune pudding. Oh, great. Jamie has all those prunes. We could make this from his prune trees. Sounds horrible. I wonder if it helps if you're constipated. 1 cup of breadcrumbs. Once again, no instructions, just the ingredients. So they have Harvard pudding, and then they have, back here, they had a Smith College fudge. So I guess colleges. Sugarless caramels. Here, I didn't know they could do that back then. 1 pound dates, 1 pound figs, and 1/2 pound of pecans. Cut into caramel shapes. And then you roll it lightly in grated sugar. You said sugarless. Now they're tricking us. All right. And English plum pudding, date pudding, suet pudding. not going to make that. Squash pudding. They have all kinds. Date pudding. And then I came across carrot pudding. My mother would make carrot pudding at Christmas Eve. We'd have it. And this is for the recipe. Potatoes and carrots that are grated, cup of sugar, cup of raisins, half a cup of flour, a cup of suet. She probably didn't put suet in it. And then you have spices and baking soda. So then you mix all that together and you steam it for 4 hours. I remember she would get a can about this big. I don't know what would come in a can this big. And she would cut off the top. And she would put it in there and put it in a pan of water and steam it in the oven for 4 hours. And then she would make the sauce that you put on. A cup of brown sugar, one square of butter, 3 egg yolks, 1 cup of cream whipped, and 1 teaspoon vanilla. And you make that, cook it up into a sauce to pour over it. We loved it, but it didn't make a whole lot for the big family, so you just got a little dish. And how come she didn't make it any other time of the year? Only at Christmas. They have a fig pudding. Oh, bring us some figgy pudding. So here is what the figgy pudding is. 1.5 cup sugar, 1 cup raisins, 1 cup currants, 1 cup suet, 1 cup flour, half a cup figs, cut up fine, half a cup of nuts, cinnamon, allspice, cloves, nutmeg, molasses, a whole cup of molasses, and a 1/4 teaspoon baking soda, and 4 eggs. And then doesn't say what to do with it, though. You're going to have to find another pudding recipe and copy it, what you do with it. They didn't complete the recipe. We are stupid. We need to know what you do with it. And so, anyway, I'm going to try some of it. I need ideas for my show. So, I am going to... All right, in the comments below, you could tell what of these recipes you know about them. Did your mother make figgy pudding? Banana sauce for Jell-O. Now, this is weird because we just eat Jell-O. We don't put anything on it. Here is, you mash a banana and you add a 1/2 teaspoon lemon. No, just a 1/2 lemon juice from the juice. A 1/2 cup of sugar and 1 egg. Add well-beaten egg. It doesn't. You must have to cook it because it has egg in it. Anyway, you put it over Jell-O. I'm not going to do it. You just have whipped cream. Here's the recipe. Does your jelly gel? For a perfect jelly, use 3/4 cup of sugar to 1 cup of fruit juice. This jelly will stand alone. 1/2 cup of sugar to 1 cup of juice makes a tough sour jelly. So you have to use 3/4 cup, not a 1/2 sugar. Okay, I'm glad they told us that. Pickled peaches. You really do use vinegar. I don't have any peaches. My sister has peach trees. I'll give her the recipe. All right, so put your comments below. And I am going to try these recipes. So when I do it, look for the recipes, old-time recipe from the 1930s, and we're going to try it. It'll be fun. Experiment. All right. 43 minutes of reading a recipe book. I'm going to tell my brother Larry, go watch my video of me reading recipes to my video friends.